PhoneShop is a very underrated sitcom, as the name suggests, about the staff of a mobile phone store in southwest London. It follows the adventures of newly hired Christopher, a pair of cocky urban salesmen, Dwayne and Ashley, career-obsessed Janine, and the deviant boss, Lance, along with other recurring characters. If you give it a fair chance, the show is really funny, the cast fit their roles very well, and it's clear that the comedy was generated organically by the actors as well as by the writer. Before I talk further about PhoneShop though, I want to go into comedy basics through the lens of the familiar magnum opus of writer Phil Bowker's friend and PhoneShop script editor, Ricky Gervais. If you haven't seen The Office, specifically the original UK version, which was adapted into the long-running US one, seriously, go watch it before you watch this video. There will be spoilers, just in case you haven't seen it by now, and adult content. In a sitcom or situation comedy, the humour is framed in general terms by the setting, such as people working in a phone shop, an office, a group of friends in New York or whatever, and then in more specific terms by the story arc of each episode. So for example, in the first episode of The Office called Downsize, the setting is used to set up some jokes like putting the stapler in jelly. The story arc, which is David Brent's boss coming to visit, is also used to generate laughs.
Dawn, this is from head office.
I know.
How many times have I told you there's a special filing cabinet for things from head office?
You haven't told me.
It's called the waste paper basket. You're...
Both of these things are used to get across the cringe comedy so characteristic of the series.
Right.
Shoot.
Was there anything that you wanted to add to the agenda?
Did no get an agenda.
Sorry?
Did not get an agenda, no.
I did fax you one this morning.
Don't think we got a fax, did we, Dawn?
Yeah, we may have.
Then why isn't it in my hand?
The plot of the very next episode, Work Experience, is used much more directly to drive the comedy though. The very last line before credits roll is arguably the funniest and provides a punchline to the whole episode.
So, has anyone got the right time?
Let's rewind for a moment. David Brent gets his friend's daughter in for work experience, as the title suggests. He shows her what is then considered a new technology, email. As a result, he discovers a Photoshop picture of himself. How should I say this? Well, I'll let him explain.
Donna should not have to see me as a woman with two men doing that all over me.
He gets annoyed by this and eventually threatens to fire the person who put the picture together. When it turns out that it's actually his friend Chris Finch, he pretends to fire him over the phone, but he's been calling the talking clock line the whole time. Hence the final line.
So, has anyone got the right time?
PhoneShop has this technique down to an art form. Every single episode is crafted to culminate in one or more ironic twists or comedic slaps to the face. In the first series, we find out that the store manager Lance has a rather unusual relationship with his partner Shelley.
I'll go to renew my wedding vows, only to find out that we are not fucking married in the first place, because this spineless shit has lied to me.
It wasn't a lie, it's more of an oversight. I didn't realise that that man who married us on that idyllic beach in Jamaica wasn't actually a minister. He's more of a waiter.
Yeah, that you paid off to marry us because you didn't want to marry me.
Shelley, I met you in a hot tub at Hedonism 3 days earlier. I couldn't marry you then. For all I know, you could have been a nutter.
Do I look like a fucking nutter?
Of course not. No. No. Come here, come on.
Too late, Lance.
Then, at the start of Series 2, the male characters feel they need to take up escorting to make money.
2 words. Escorting.
Nah. That ain't me. I ain't going to that place. What, like hooking up with older men in arcades, getting paid in tracksuit and trainers, woodland breaks in Rotterdam. Bun that.
You mean escorting women, innit?
Just as they get going on that, Shelley keeps taking Janine to go out partying. It's pretty easy to see the twist coming, but then the show springs a second twist. Hilarity ensues. Binge watch PhoneShop and you'll catch yourself trying to guess what the next twist is going to be. In fact, if you decide to watch the show for the first time, I recommend that you pause at these time steps in each episode and take bets on what will happen next. But PhoneShop doesn't just have single episode arcs, it also has inside jokes and elaborate comedy plots which span all 3 series. Here are just some of the running jokes throughout the series that I managed to spot.
Champagne? Ooh, cava. That's right. It's French for champagne.
Champagne?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that is French for champagne.
Where's all the...
It's like babysitting, yeah? But with swords.
With swords? Single, widowed, or recently divorced?
We are going to briefly elevate the ordinary. Yeah? We're going to put on an incredible free show that the people of Sutton will be talking about forever.
Where do you get these people from?
GIMP database.
GIMP database?
Gullible idiot mug punters.
Of course it is.
It's a list of people who'll buy anything. I used to be on it till I was lucky enough to win the opportunity to buy myself off it.
In fact, the show does this to a fault, and I would say this is one of the 2 main reasons it hasn't enjoyed the popularity it deserves. Every episode requires an investment of effort to get the reward at the end. This means that the main jokes aren't packaged into a neat 30-second clip of David Brent dancing or Sheldon Cooper being awkward. For PhoneShop, it's hard to produce a funny short promotional clip or even this video because the 25-minute episodes all rely so heavily on being cleverly put together, which they are. Part of the problem is that it came out just a few years before you could really binge a box set. Most people would have watched it weekly on TV if they even got through a whole episode before flicking through the channels. With streaming services, that needn't be the case today, of course. The upside is that all the comedic threads of one-off gags, running jokes, and episode arcs are woven into a fine tapestry. The writing also adds to the rewatch value of the box set as you can find and appreciate new material. Compare that with most sitcoms where whole episodes go by with hardly any attempt being made to be funny at all. It is said that something is beautiful when nothing can be added or taken away, and in this sense, PhoneShop Series 3 Episode 2 is an artistic masterpiece. Nothing more can be added because it perfectly fits in a specific time slot, and nothing can be taken away because every scene and every line is not only funny by itself, but it's integral to building towards the visual punchline at the end.
He's a rubbery big boy, just like his daddy.
I would recommend that anyone who is an aspiring scriptwriter, a critic, or just generally interested in media watch this episode. Whether or not you yourself find it funny, if you take it as read that the episode must conclude with one or more twists, then the writing economy is fantastic. There is a clear beginning where the problem is set up, the middle where the confrontations take place, and finally, in the conclusion, the problem is resolved with comedic twists and turns along the way. At this point, it's important to talk about the setting. In some sense, PhoneShop is the most realistic sitcom insofar as it was filmed by hiring out this exact shop in Sutton High Street in southwest London. The little high street dramas, rivalries between different shops, the salespeople trying desperately to upsell to their customers is all very authentic. Oh my days, the characters talk like they're from southwest London, innit? But this realism is the other major barrier to the show's success which puts people off. Let me be blunt. Most people who saw the show were turned away thinking that PhoneShop is simply a show by chavs for chavs. I think it's important to address and refute this idea. I'm sure some clueless comedy reviewer at the Daily Mail or Guardian newspapers have probably forgotten that you don't have to be an office worker to enjoy The Office. You don't have to be a London contract phone salesperson to enjoy PhoneShop. In defense of the show, people in Sutton in the early 2010s really spoke that way. So if nothing else, PhoneShop serves as a record of the zeitgeist then. When we all forgotten what life was like before social media, we can watch the episode where Dwayne becomes an internet meme before that was in the mainstream, or when Lance gets Twitter for the first time.
Once again, the socially inept seduced by the illusion of being in the game in order to serve corporate marketing ends. Mugs.
Oh, that's good. Shall I spell mugs with a Z? Be a bit edgy.
Bruv, if you're gonna get into this game, you need to bring game to your game, you get me?
Yeah, if your brand values are vanity, stupidity, and incessant banality, then cool. That's what Twitter's all about. But you gotta come correct, bruv.
PhoneShop is part of a long line of British urban comedies which have broad appeal, often with a large dose of satire. The writing itself makes it clear that the show was intended for a wide audience. Of the main characters, it's actually only Ashley and Dwayne who are urban as such, and the rest are generically from the south of England. They even routinely get picked up on trying to fit in and failing.
Janine, are you taking the piss? I've left you messages, I've texted you, I've rung your house.
Allow it.
Allow it?
I'm perfectly confident that term's correct. Double-checked it on Urban Dictionary, so...
Ow! Ashley! Oh, lads, what you doing, man? Wait up, man. Wait, lads.
Noobs, what are you doing? Never run, bruv. Never run.
We don't run on this high street. We run this high street, yeah?
What? Shit, man, only run on track, noobs. Get me.
Yeah, or from Babylon, innit? One, why are you running from Babylon? What you got to hide?
Yeah, we're on a legal money ting around here, yeah?
Two, never run from Babylon.
Don't know.
Three, never ever use the word Babylon.
On top of that, the main overarching plot of Christopher joining as a new member of staff sets him up as the audience surrogate. We learn about the store and the other staff members as he does. This type of trope is a very common one in works of fiction such as Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. Just as Luke Skywalker and the audience of A New Hope learn about a lightsaber for the first time, Christopher and the audience of PhoneShop learn a bit of slang or some high street drama. This structure is not an accident, but a deliberate writing choice to ease the audience into the setting and get across a sense of irony. In addition to everything I've mentioned, PhoneShop has some of the most organic, grass-fed gourmet comedy. It's clear that the entire cast have put their hearts into the project and contributed to the delivery and the humour. Just one of a huge number of examples is the running joke about Ashley's receding hairline.
Look, bruv, don't make a thing of this, yeah, bro. Does it look bigger to you?
What?
Bruv, the thing, man. Does it? Don't play. Does it look bigger to you?
What am I doing?
The thing. Does it look bigger to you? The thing.
What thing, bro?
The thing up top. Does it look bigger to you?
You're gonna have to hold it down for longer. Whoa, no.
From the acting, the on-screen chemistry, the deleted scenes and so on, it's clear that this wasn't just something in the script all along and the producers found an actor with receding hair. The cast and writer had a lot of internal banter which got worked up into a recurring joke across many of the episodes and delivered naturally. All the organic humour and many of the inside jokes culminate in the finale at the end of Series 3, which is like a greatest hits album capping off the entire show very nicely. To conclude, I want to urge you to watch PhoneShop for the comedy, the punchlines, the impeccable writing. Watch it if you're feeling nostalgic for the 2010s. If you do decide to jump in, I'd recommend starting with Series 3 Episode 2. Or watch it even if you don't decide to jump in.